Welcome back.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Eyes Open stream.
I'm having fun seeing all the credits. Seeing all the credits roll.
Lots of people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I gotta change the memory card really. But I am writer-director Matthew Nyquist of Eyes Open, and I am here with.
I'm Logan Bodenhamer, an associate producer on Eyes Open.
And we are going to be playing some Final Fantasy VIII today. All right, I've got the right memory card launched. Confirm that. I can go into here. Yep. Awesome. Okay. All right. Starting right on time. Holy crap.
Nice.
That's pretty amazing. So, let this opening FMV here play. So why are we... I keep looking over here. Make sure everything's going okay. If there are any issues with the stream...
Yep. And stream chat is the one I'm supposed to have open, right?
Yes. So Logan will be monitoring the stream chat. He will also be monitoring any fabulous donations that anyone wants to give us. So we would really appreciate anything, but I will get more into that. All right, I got our stream open here so I can see it on my iPad. Awesome. Okay. Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah.
So again, if anyone wants to make any comments, we'd love to hear them. You can chat with us on Facebook, on Twitch, or on YouTube. Anyway, they should go to us. We'd really appreciate it. The donate link is there on our stream. Any amount at all is super helpful in helping us make our movie.
Absolutely.
So, Final Fantasy VIII, the way I'm playing it, I should talk about. So I am playing it on a PlayStation 1. So original hardware. I am not emulating it or doing anything like that. I am 100% playing original hardware. I'm upscaling through the RetroTink 4K. And I'm a big believer in scan lines and having it look how it was originally intended. I know there's an argument there, but there's also running through the Trinitron preset to apply scan lines, etc. So compression can sometimes mess with that, but I still think it's the best way to play it. There are some... there is a remaster of this game available on just about every platform, but it has a lot of problems. I was talking to Logan about this a little bit earlier, but biggest problem being that they lost the source code. So when the original game out on PlayStation, then they ported it to PC. The source code was completely lost, so when they did the remaster, they took the PC version and they decompiled it and had to use those assets. So backgrounds, etc. Character models completely updated, backgrounds and everything were not really looked very blurry. So I still think the original is the way to play it. I do have one cheat applied, or a couple, just to make sure we can experience the story with no issues. Main one being that Squall can't die, and then infinite items. So Mr. Bodenhamer, what do you think so far?
So far, I'm loving it. I don't really have much experience with Final Fantasy VIII, but I love the theatrical opening we have here, and I'm excited to dig into the story here a little bit.
Yeah, the music's amazing, isn't it?
Oh yeah, the music's fantastic. Like, I love the big orchestral feel it's got.
Yeah, I love it. Nobuo Uematsu is the composer who did all the Final Fantasies up until... Didn't do all of 10, but some of 10, and then... but so, it starts right after that big fight between you and Cypher. I think it's pronounced Cypher, but most Americans say Cypher. So I'm gonna leave all the characters' default names. In the hospital here. Got the nice scar on her face. Tell it to our friend. It won't listen to anybody. Squall is notoriously... I don't know, modern day you would say emo.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Back in the day would have said angsty. But
I still hear angsty around occasionally.
Yeah, I think it worked. But graphics were really pushing the PlayStation 1. Pre-rendered backgrounds that look really, really nice, even animated, as you see the what the hell are those things called? Blinds or
Yep. Curtains.
Curtains. There we go.
English is hard sometimes.
English is hard. With the character models being rendered in real time. So this game came out on 9/9/99. Great marketing, and we go back and forth between these CG cutscenes. Square invested a ton of money in these CG cutscenes, even releasing a full CG movie not too long after Final Fantasy VIII came out.
Yeah, this looks amazing for 99. Like, it looks like it could be just a movie. Of course, in a lower resolution for the console, but...
Yeah, 240p, but yeah, I agree. It still looks pretty good, especially those scenes. All right, so we're in this organization called CD, going into the classroom. The beginning of this game is a little bit slow. Again, we have this nice pre-rendered background, kind of a cinematic walk here, and I'm controlling Squall, which is kind of fun in this scene. Quistis, of course, is goading him. Oh, the stream looks good. I just pulled it up on the iPad.
Yeah, I think the CRT scan lines are coming through rather well.
Awesome. Awesome. Tell me more about yourself. Okay, so I can actually move, but it won't let me go back. Okay. Close up on his glorious detailed face there. They finish each other's sentences. So this is pretty cool. We've got the pre-rendered background, and we have the real-time rendered character model going, and we have a movement through it, which is pretty intense for the time.
Yeah.
It's pretty
I'm very impressed by the syncing of the camera move with the video.
Yes, and
well.
we should mention Logan is also our VFX consultant. He's a VFX expert, so he would know all about that stuff for sure.
Also done a little bit of game design, so all of that like technical stuff, I love it.
Awesome. Yeah. So Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time. It's been remade recently. I mean, it's actually a remake, not just a remaster. Final Fantasy VIII came out a couple years later, and I could not have been more excited for it. So we're starting out with this exam, right? A great, fun way to start a game. But it's a field exam. It's more of a military operation. So I have never beaten this game, which is something that has to do with the movie. Here, I'll talk about. And Cypher, don't injure your partner. What a jerk! Look at he just looks over.
No, man, I got caught.
Exactly. He so this was the Final Fantasy VII mostly uses kind of the exaggerated chibi characters, so we're starting to try to have some realism here. All right, so I can also PC version does not allow for analog control. I'm gonna turn vibration on. Have you been to the fire cavern? It's our prereq. I was gonna go this morning, but that jerk hurt me. So. No, I haven't been there.
Sounds ominous.
It's and then it is ominous, like Mustafa.
I mean, I've seen some pretty non-ominous places with ominous names, but I would trust the fantasy game. The fire cavern has something to do with fire.
Fire cavern. Here we have selfie. All this stuff I remember so far. You can be a jerk and just not say anything, but I'm gonna be nice. All right. Kind of in a hurry. Couple class. Anything in the chat so far?
Haven't seen anything come through yet. It should be popping up in Discord, right?
Yeah, in that.
Yeah, nothing new so far.
Assuming it's working, but Restream assured me it was working. So. All right, fine. I'll give you a tour. What else? What else am I doing at the moment? So the PC version did not allow for analog control, so I would not be able to do this. But with analog, I can move the stick less and walk slowly, or go fast.
That's
proving
nice.
Proving that I'm not using the remaster here, although it'd be pretty easy to tell because of the non-blurry backgrounds. There's also this card game built in. I'm not going to get much into that.
I saw that in the credits. There's like a director for it.
Yeah, I never really got into it. A lot of people really like this card game. You can challenge people, and you can actually use the cards to get items and all sorts of stuff later. I just am not into card games, but a lot of people really like the card game.
Kind of funny, like, I know in the Sonic games with the Chibi Garden, there's a whole following of people that like really only played the game for that. I wonder if that kind of a thing was happening for this game as well.
Could be.
Just devoted entirely to the card game.
The first time I played this, I completely flew through this, and I had no idea where to go, so I should play. Okay, so the dorm. Okay, so we can go all over the place. Various facilities. Dormitory up the north. A little bit of phase issue. I'm gonna have it auto phase. Okay. And the dorms too. rest and change in there.
Like the hot dogs are the popular food here.
I know. Feelings to Americans. Who doesn't love a good hot dog? Garden car with a mission. Okay, front gate located south. That's right. I gotta go there. Thanks for reminding me. Next, we have the quad. Look in the west block. There's an event being planned there. Alright, I don't want to help. Let's just continue. Right.
I'm too busy.
I'm too busy, but I'm giving you a tour of the whole school. Alright. Used for training, and they have real monsters when loose. Blah, blah, blah. Be careful. Gulp. Half of the east block is the library. There's a lot of material you can look up here, but the terminal's the classroom. And you already know about the classroom on the second floor, right? Yep. Headmaster Sid. There's always a Sid in the Final Fantasy games. Alright, we're finally getting close to when we can actually play.
CD exam.
CD. Alright, yeah. Alright, let's save. Okay. But some really beautiful backgrounds. That artwork in this game is really, really well done.
Despite the low resolution, you can totally, like, the backgrounds look great.
Yeah, the originally drawn by Yoshitaka Amano and then converted to CG. Where the tech? Oh no, it's a different guy that talks about. And like this scene's so cool, with the parallax.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
You can actually see the detail of his character model a little bit.
Kind of interesting how they've got these locked camera angles. You can kind of just explore that.
Definitely, yeah. There was a big move towards using the more free-roaming camera angles, but this you have a animated MPEG movie playing for like those waterfalls and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's real-time rendered. No one can draw yet. We don't have the draw system.
Right.
I mentioned the draw system in the script. I'm not a huge fan of it, but maybe I'll like it more this time. Alright, once we get into the battles, I'll start talking about the movie a little bit. Alright, Guardian system here. We'll just stay battle here. Or Shiva. Okay, here's another tutorial. Functioning and GF. GFs are a big deal in this game.
What is a GF?
It's basically this giant supernatural force. I think the Guardian forces, and they
Okay.
they're like legendary beings, and they you can summon them into battle, but they also, when you have them junctioned, allow you to do magic and pretty much anything else, and they help you have higher attack things. So these are all the things this one can do.
Yeah, so they give you unique abilities depending on which one you have equipped.
Yes, and they help your stats and all that as well.
That's a neat mechanic.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't like the draw system so much, although maybe I will like the draw system better. Right. Tutorials I'm not a fan of.
There's a lot of text.
There is a lot of text. It gets less texty. You actually get to play here pretty soon. I mean, the Final Fantasy games are all very, very story heavy.
Right.
But I'm not a tutorial fan. Guardian Force. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, come on. Anyone out there has any tips on how to play this game better? I'd love to hear them in the chat as well.
Oh yeah. If you have any experiences
how
with this game.
For sure, and tell me I'm doing it wrong.
Yes. It'll just make it more powerful.
Yes, because I'm gonna go ahead and junction right now. While I think usually because that allows us to. I don't have any magic yet. Okay. But I can do abilities, so I can do draw magic item for now. Okay. Now I can go back here and draw that thing really quick. So magic in this game, you like suck it out of different sources. Is this the guy who wants to go visit his parent? Oh, I really like this garden. Even instructions that suck. Okay, nice. So I can draw magic. Since I have a GF now. But instead of like finding microphone fell off. Instead of finding magic, you draw it out of usually enemies and sometimes draw points like that. Ready to go?
Okay. So you you are more powerful, or you can use more magic as you draw points from enemies?
Yes, and draw new types of magic too.
Cool.
Let's follow the road here. We're in the world map now. Here's the fire cavern. Despite having not played this forever, oh, first battle.
What is it? Ooh.
Oh, mosquitoes.
Those are big mosquitoes.
Big mosquitoes. Oh, and Qual's sword, his gun blade, if you hit R1 right when you hit, you get an extra attack. But I'm gonna draw. So I got fire. Draw. What other magic can I gonna get from them? Scan. Okay. And then now I'll go ahead and. They're pretty strong. Got it.
Oh, that would one-shot any mosquito I know in real life.
Yeah. I like the gun blade. Push this in her whip. Game isn't too far delayed from us, so that's pretty cool. Okay. Once we get in the fire cavern, I'll talk a little bit about the significance of this game with the movie. You don't have to read so much text.
Right.
Oh yeah, I have items on too. Okay. I need to junction with Quick Twist this. I forgot to do that. Twist this. Junction. Guardian Force. Shiva. Magic. I can't do that yet. But I can't. Abilities. Draw. Magic. We'll let her do GF. Okay. And then for wall. Actually do that now. And now we're entering the fire cavern. Oh, but oops. So the other thing they don't tell you about in the tutorial yet is that you can have your I can't remember how to get into it. We can't do it. Oh, here we go. GFs. You can say what you want them to learn. Okay, so I want the junctions magic to HP, magic vitality. I want to... HP doesn't matter because I have infinite. Let's raise magic damage. That sounds like fun. And for Shiva...
So is this kind of meant to be like a party you're traveling with?
Yeah. Yep. Similar to... Did you play D&D with Aiden?
Oh, yeah. All the time.
So Final Fantasy was, in a lot of ways, inspired by D&D. The underlying battle mechanics are very, very much based on it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Now it's going to tell me how to do what I just did. Okay, I just did it, Quistis. You don't need to tell me. Yep. Yep. I really wish you could skip these tutorials. Game designers out there, always let us skip tutorials. Yep, I just literally just did it. Literally just did it. Okay. Oh, I don't want to put fire on attack because we're going into the fire cave. I don't have... Alright, come on. Fabulous. Okay. I already know. Thanks for letting me skip one thing. That's nice.
They're merciful just a little bit.
A little bit. Okay. So I'm gonna do that. Okay. Talk to these weirdos. Are you ready? Yep. Right, choose a time limit. I think we can do it in 10.
All right.
We shall find out, weird hat people.
What happens if you don't make the time limit? You get sent back out?
I don't know. I've never not made it. I guess we'll find out.
That's promising.
All right. I think we can do it. I love the backgrounds here. They look great.
Oh, yeah.
Very Mustafar.
Such different lighting from everywhere else so far. This is definitely the fire cave I was expecting.
Nice. Nice. Alright, first battle. Take care of these people quickly. People, it's gonna be bats, yeah. Alright, bats. See, what can I draw from them? Something. Thunder. A nice little heat effect, too.
Yeah.
Blurring. So I said I would talk a little bit about the movie. I can talk a little bit. Hopefully won't give away too much. The movie, obviously, based on the true story of Sara and me, but with Josh and Sara. So, Final Fantasy VII. My favorite game of all time. I was obsessed with Final Fantasy VII. I thought Sephiroth was an awesome character. I liked Sephiroth so much. They have the Mako-colored eyes. I actually got contacts to have Mako-colored eyes to match Sephiroth. Cool. Yeah, that's how into that game I was. So like, I was pretty amazed with. Okay, ice. I don't think I have ice. Do I have ice?
I think You just have fire or thunder.
Yeah, I don't. I like when they tell you to use something that you don't have. Just use that thing you don't have yet. Okay, thank you. Does she have it? No, she doesn't have it either. She does have Shiva though. Shiva would ice it up, but okay. I'll save Shiva for the big boss here at the end. So I loved Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII was by far my favorite game. Love the story. So was super excited for, man, this is like hit sponge here. Super excited for Final Fantasy VIII to come out. 2 years later, so quite a wait there. How is it expecting me to do? I really don't. Yeah, I'll have I. Finally, okay. And so story's getting interrupted by the battle. But was super excited for this game to come out. Like, super excited. And I didn't get it like the day it came out. But when I finally did get it, I was super into it. And good friends of mine and I would play it together. We'd played Final Fantasy VII. I'd shown it to him in Final Fantasy Tactics and all those games at the time. And then I was dead set on just playing this game through. Nothing would stop me from playing this game all the way through. I was gonna get it. So we're playing, and around that time too, and there's more detail in the movie obviously, but it was when I just started to see Tara, but we had always all hung out together as a group, my friends and her. We'd all hung out as a group. And so I'm playing Final Fantasy VIII, and oh my god, another battle.
Wow.
I have to.
Yeah, I don't know if this time limit's gonna work out.
Hopefully this is ticking clock. Oh, it's a giant bat.
That's a bat.
The scary, angry bat. Okay. I wonder what happens if you don't hit the time limit. We'll do some thunder. We might find out what happened. Oh, the thunder does pretty good. One shot with the thunder. Okay. We're playing this game. I'm super into it. I'm like, I'm not putting this controller down for anything because, like, my friends, wanted to play too. And then the phone rings. And I'm pretty upset. Like, okay, so we're already to the end. Pretty upset. I'm like, why would anyone call while I'm playing Final Fantasy VIII? Like, don't people know that this should not be interrupted? So I'm hoping someone's going to answer the phone. No one answered the phone. And this is the late 90s, so it's not a cell phone, it's the house phone. And so I finally have to answer it. I'm going to summon Shiva right away because this fire devil man.
This guy's not messing around.
No, he's not. So we're going to just go ahead and summon Shiva. If she survives to summon it. And I might do some thunder in the meantime. So who do you think's on the phone? Right? I answer. And it's Tara. Please survive. And so instantly I'm more focused on her than the game, which was something my friends noticed. Like, all my attention was on these other things, and then all of a sudden, all my attention's on her. Alright, now I've got my own super baddie to fight you. Take that. A 168.
That was
really.
intense. That was a good animation.
They have Shiva? Yeah, they have Shiva. Although Shiva takes like 100,000 years to cast. It might be Thunders. Not bad for him. Is that it? Are we done? I can't remember how much HP this thing has.
Oh yeah, does it have a bar for HP?
Nope. The clock's still ticking. Stop ticking, clock.
Yeah, this game was definitely feels out of an era where things were a little bit more brutal with timers.
Oh, for sure. But I think we got it. All right, do we have to actually leave? There isn't much time. I don't want to. I don't want to go over anything. Okay,
All right,
well, we do another.
Get out of this cave. Here's another lesson.
You're under a ticking clock. Let's have a class. So it's Tara on the phone, and she says, "Hey, you guys want to hang out? Or do you want to hang out?" And I say, "Sure." So I put the phone down. I'm like, "Hey, guys." Let's all hang out. And they're like, oh, one of my friends like, oh, finally, no more Final Fantasy. They're sick of it. And the other friend was happy because I handed him the controller. And then I get back on the phone. She's like, no, I want you to come over here. I'm like, oh, okay, change of plan, guys. We're going over there. And oh, okay. And then I put the phone back up to my ear, and she goes, no, just you. So my eyes are like, holy crap. I'm pretty excited, and end up going over there, and we have our first one-on-one hangout, and we play video games, of course. So there you go, there's a scene from the movie.
And after that, did you really play any more Final Fantasy VIII?
Yeah, that's true. I have not played Final Fantasy VIII since then, and I was so excited to play it, which is how much my life changed at that point. So now, thanks for bringing that up. So now, playing, the timer looks like it's done. The Final Fantasy VIII, I'm finally going to play it after all these 25 years. So, you know, recent game.
It was just a bit of a delay. You're gonna be
just a little bit of a delay. Just a little bit. Yeah, I can't draw anything from them. Ah, I love how it vibrates when you hit it right. Okay. Ah. These bombs, if they get low, sometimes they'll explode and like really get you, so you have to be careful.
Reminds me of like the one of the most annoying Pokemon moves.
Oh yeah, what Pokemon? I never got into Pokemon. I had the first, actually I got the first Pokemon game around this time period.
There's like a few, I think Voltorb is one that will do it, where if it gets really low, it'll just explode and kill itself and probably your own Pokemon. And battle's over.
Exactly what those bombs do. So I already drew that. Oh, and I need to junction my friend Ifrit now that I have him. Drink. Got nothing there. And then what should we have Ifrit learn here? Oh, probably this one. Actually, let's raise strength. And then can I use magic here? Actually, I use items since I have unlimited. High potion, bam. All right.
I don't like
Fiery
that
pit.
battle transition.
Yeah, it's one of the things they messed up in like the PC version. They couldn't quite get that transition right, and then even in if you played this game on a PS2 because it was backwards compatible, it would mess up that transition too.
Oh, that's kind of fascinating.
Yeah, must be something super specific about the hardware that lets it do that.
Yeah, it's one of those things like that's not a bug, that's a feature.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I love that the old consoles were so unique. Like that generation with PlayStation, the N64, they're completely different hardware, and the Sega Saturn.
Yeah.
Completely different hardware. Whereas now the PS5 and the Xbox Series X are pretty much.
Yeah, they can all run the same games now. I mean, it becomes a lot easier to make versions that work across different platforms. Like back then, like it was a lot harder to program a game, and ports were not easy.
Yes, it's very true. Which, has its downside that are exclusive, but I just love how they're able to get some of this old hardware to do interesting things by really focusing on its quirks.
If you know the hardware inside out, you can do some amazing stuff with it.
Sure, and the PlayStation 1 especially had a lot of built-in functionality and a really, really high-quality sound output. I know that audiophiles, I think it was the original PlayStation model, had really high audio output. It had a good DAC in it. But the genesis of the... Let me get this bomb out of the way first. The genesis of the hardware was Ken Kutaragi being... Sony had this previs model for various things. We need to do previs of graphics and things for movies or ads or whatever. And Ken Kutaragi saw that and was like, this would make a great video game console.
Wasn't that also kind of motivated because, this is the PlayStation 1. Wasn't Sony working on something with Nintendo that used discs?
Oh, yeah.
And then Nintendo backed out at the last second. They're like, okay, we put all this research into it. We're just going to do it ourselves.
This is one of the more fun video game stories. But yeah, it was originally the Nintendo PlayStation, and it was an add-on for the Super Nintendo. And there's actually at least one out in the wild. Someone found one fairly recently with one game, I think.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know
it was
that.
Still working. Yeah, if you search online, you can find. It was like a guy's dad was working on promotion for it or something, and so one of the very few prototypes was out there.
It's like a window into an alternate future.
Yeah, for sure. And it was because at the time you have you have the Atari 2600, comes out and then does really well, and then in 1983 the American video game market completely crashes. Goes from billion-dollar industry to zero almost overnight. And Nintendo comes in and resurrects that market, does extraordinarily well. I'm really truncating this. Does really, really well. They don't want to release new hardware because they're dominating so much. But in Japan, NEC releases the PC Engine, which ends up actually starting to beat Nintendo in Japan, and it's has better graphics than the NES or the Famicom. And so they're really starting to work on the Super Nintendo. There's also the Sega Mega Drive, which becomes the Genesis in the United States.
Right.
That did not do well in Japan at all.
Well, that's kind of
so
crazy. 'Cause it did
Yeah,
great
it is.
here.
It does really, really well here.
I think it's still going in Brazil, I think.
It probably still is. Probably still is. So the PC Engine is the first system to have a CD add-on for it. And it does pretty well in Japan. There's some great games released for it. And then Sega starts development on the Sega CD, which eventually comes out. And then Tom Kalinske comes on at Sega of America. Sega starts with 2% of the market share in America, and within a few years they're at 50%. So Nintendo's reign of domination basically ends, and then they have the PC Engine nipping at their heels in Japan. It comes out as the TurboGrafx 16 in the United States, but doesn't do very well. But Sega really does. Sega has the CD add-on. And so Sony is the originator of the CD format, and so they make this deal with Nintendo that they're going to make the Nintendo PlayStation, which is similar and a similar add-on to the PC Engine, CD add-on, and the Sega CD. And so Sony announces it at CES. And it's something like the next day, Nintendo announces they're doing something with Philips instead, and like really embarrass Sony. And so Sony and the Nintendo thing with Philips ends up being the CDI and is terrible. Nintendo doesn't even really acknowledge its existence. Oh my god, another tutorial. Hopefully this is the last one for a while.
Think it might not be.
Forgot how many there were at the beginning. There aren't as many in 7. Yep, I know. I've already done all this. CDI comes out with Nintendo. It's terrible. No one buys it. And the story goes that Ken Kutaragi convinces the CEO of Sony to do the PlayStation purely out of revenge. I don't know how true that is, but that's the story for how they've been dishonored by Nintendo. And then the PlayStation comes out, and they've won every console generation since. 1, 2, 3, 4, and Switch might actually win now, but
Switch is on an incredible run. I mean,
Switch is. Yeah, it might be the best selling ever. The PS2 right now is the best selling.
I think it's currently the longest running Nintendo console ever.
Yeah, it's the longest running console of any kind. In the United States, anyway.
Yeah, which is
as you said, the Genesis is probably still running in Brazil.
Yeah, there's a few places, and I feel like I remember Brazil specifically where it actually still has support. And
yep.
I don't know if it's selling new in box, but it's kind of crazy.
There's some new games being released. There's like this game called Eartheon that Yuzo Koshiro is working on, and he was like one of the main composers in the Genesis. And did like Streets of Rage.
That's really cool.
And he's developing a game for the Mega Drive. Genesis.
All of the people are still making stuff for classic consoles. Like, I've seen some homebrew stuff too.
Pretty cool.
It's fun to experiment, given, like, as we discussed, they were so different. So it's just interesting to mess with.
For sure. Alright, I gotta go get changed, it says. Let's go to the dorms.
Style matters.
Style matters. I'm trying to remember where it was that I started. No, go this way. Where it was that I stopped playing forever. I definitely got to this part. I think you were
probably much farther than this.
Yeah, because this is pretty, like, alright, I might as well say.
But we've only been playing for like 45 minutes.
Yeah, no, I play a lot more than that. I love the music, so definitely bringing me back. Okay, Alright, I think I can just hit this. Go. No, not the front. That was dumb. Wrong button. Well, now we get to stroll down here again. Water fountains are cool.
Yeah. They do a great job matching the scale, too. Walking
Yeah.
2D image, so that's really impressive.
The loading times aren't that bad. I think
Yeah.
I have an X Station installed into my PlayStation, so it's basically replaced the CD drive with the SD card, and I think that helps the seek times a little bit.
It would, because it doesn't have to search through the disk. It can just pull out the data like a regular modern drive would do.
Dormitory.
Okay, I think I might be missing some messages. Got a message from someone.
Oh.
Let's see here.
Are they appearing in the channel?
No, I was just alerted by in my DMs that there was some. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So they're not showing up in Discord. We'll have to look into that at some point.
Restream. I talked to them yesterday because I was like, it's not working in the test, and they're like, well, you have to be actually streaming live. So I apologize for that. Can you go into the various places where the stream is and read some?
I've got some on Facebook. I'll check a few other places after that. But on Facebook, we've got greetings from Kansas. Was this a game that would have been created using Unity or Unreal Engine? No, it probably wouldn't have even been made using a game engine. If it was, it would have been very custom. Game engines like that, like Unity and Unreal, are just kind of available out of the box. It didn't really exist back then. It was much too early for them.
How cool is it that we have you here to explain that? That's awesome.
Glad to be of service.
I don't think Unity had been released yet.
No, and Unreal technically exists, but it existed because there was it stemmed from Unreal Tournament, but that was still an in-house engine at the time.
Right. Loved Unreal Tournament.
So I just got a question. What was your first film, Matt?
My first film. Well, if you go back to kindergarten, I made a lot of little Ninja Turtle movies with my dad holding the camcorder.
Nice.
But probably the first movie that was a little bit more serious, I guess, was my senior year of high school. I made a Star Wars movie with a bunch of Linsborgians called The Chosen One. We had all the stuff to do real costumes and like really look like Jedi and everything. We had Cale Holdsworth did some really cool lightsabers, and then like a few months before, the costume designer got some really amazing opportunity. He had to go to Europe, so we rewrote the script that the Jedi came to Kansas. We wore like normal clothes, because the Jedi are fitting in. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, technically, since the ET aliens appeared in the Phantom Menace, Earth is canon.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So it could happen.
I think I might have said something like that back then. Justify it. Any other comment?
Is this your first feature film? Is also another question on there. Is Eyes Open?
It is my first feature film. I've worked on feature films, but it's my first feature film that I'm directing and writing.
Awesome. I also got a comment. I like the.
You should read their name. You should read their names too.
Both of these are actually
other
my parents, Rick and Julie Bodenhamer, are watching the stream.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'm glad you guys are here. Thanks for tuning in.
Nice. Hello.
I'll pull up a few other.
And also, I should mention, if anyone's watching this like recorded or whatever, still comment on it. We'd love to read your comments, and you can still donate. The donate link is there. Every cent goes towards the movie, its production, to to make our amazing movie. We're currently in our Kickstarter campaign, which is part of our strategic fundraising campaign. eyesopenmovie.com. Then you can go to our Kickstarter to go there. We have a lot of really cool rewards. You can come to the premiere. You can get you can go out to dinner with us. You can have a virtual chat with me and the cast. Right. Some of these you'll even get to hang out with Logan.
I would love to meet everyone. I'm having such a blast on this crew for this movie so far.
Awesome. Does that Streamlabs say are there any events on there? I wonder if
I haven't seen any in there either.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm currently opening everything up. So I've got Twitch, Facebook, and I'm going to YouTube right now.
Awesome.
Is there any other places that we're currently streaming it?
Nope, just those 3.
Okay, cool.
Oh, sweet. We get to drive this car now. There's a really cool sequence coming up. So there was a demo that came out for this game a ways before, and this next sequence was the demo, and it was really, really cool at the time. It really got everyone psyched for Final Fantasy VIII. I think I don't remember where it started.
Oh, hey, okay, so all the comments are showing up in YouTube.
Nice!
That's fun. I could use that. Okay.
The restream was right, it just didn't show up in the Discord. Which is what I asked them. But that's fine, I love your restream, you're restreaming everything, so great.
Yeah, at least it all still shows up in YouTube. That's a nice one coalesced place there. So Julie asked, do you both have Vision Tech background?
Oh, Vision Tech.
Yes.
Go ahead, you start.
Yeah, so Vision Tech, for anyone watching that doesn't know, that is basically what we call the media arts class at the local high school in Lindsberg, which was actually a big part of the reason why I was drawn to Lindsberg. My family was looking at moving to town for a number of reasons, but one of the factors that actually made us seriously consider it was this program that they had at the high school. It was really cool, taught by Mrs. Dankwich, one of my favorite teachers ever. And it was very unique class where like once a semester we would have this project that would last for about 4 weeks where we could research and do basically anything. It didn't even have to be media related. And the goal was to try something new and then present your process. And it didn't have to be successful or not. You were graded on the presentation. And I learned so much in doing that. That really got me really taught me how to teach myself how to do things, which is probably one of my most valuable skills at this point. So yeah, do you have any experience with Vision Tech, Matt?
I do. This car is wonky. Vision Tech, I was actually in the first class of Vision Tech, the first iteration of Vision Tech. And Mrs. Texley, if you're listening, Mrs. Texley, Mrs. Texley started this class, and it was originally called Infotech, for Information Technology.
I think they still use that email.
Do they really?
Yeah, that email's still out there. I think that's what they use on their YouTube channel.
That's hilarious. That's awesome. So Infotech, and it was me, and first time was Ryan Holmquist and Holly Higby and me. And we were in the 7th hour. We called ourselves, they called us, the 7th Hour Saints. And we mostly started out learning like computer repair. Like we fixed a lot of computers on campus. We built computers, and just learned a ton about technology. Lots of different progress. We got to have lunch with Benton Cerf, who invented TCP, so the technology the internet runs on.
Oh, that's cool.
It was pretty cool, and it was really amazing. And then senior year, I did a lot more independent stuff. I worked on that Star Wars movie. I did a lot of research in the game industry, wrote a lot of like people in the game industry, and did research in the game industry. And then it continued to grow and grow. But Infotech was awesome. Like it was definitely, like, class-wise, the best part of high school, like, for sure.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
so
same here.
this next sequence coming up here is what the demo was. Get on this, like, submarine thing, and this pretty amazing sequence, yeah, it's about to play. This is what the demo was. I'm glad that we got this. Alright, so now they're going to tell us our mission. Nice to meet you. We had a new member, Zell, join. By the way, he's kind of a hyperactive, fighty guy. And then Cypher,
Those are useful.
who's the big bully. He's with us, or is he? Right?
Ooh.
But yeah, for 1999, these character models on a console were
Oh yeah, I mean,
pretty amazing.
definitely pushing the limits of resolution here with what you're able to see in detail-wise, but they look great for that era, especially being able to run real time.
They've got kind of a charm to them. At the time, I remember thinking, because I really like 2D drawn graphic, but they've grown on me for sure.
Yeah.
We're gonna intercept.
Just the combo of the CG graphics with the sort of like low res aesthetic, it gives it a texture which I really like.
It does.
And I think part of
Very
that is the CRT filter, but I mean that's how you would have seen it on an actual TV back then. So
Yeah, if you take the CRT filter off, it makes it a little naked and doesn't look as good for sure.
it just
But
flattens it out.
But here we go. This next sequence is really beautiful, really great cinematography, very artful, and it ends really cool. Oh, I gotta talk to. Okay, let's talk to Quistis. I don't want to have it explained. Cypher.
So when you get to a point in this demo, I've got a couple other questions for you.
Oh, nice. You go, Dad.
Yeah. Cool. So first one is, what are some of your common experiences with Lynchburg filmmaking, even back to your high school days around here?
Lynchburg filmmaking.
Yeah.
Lynchburg is the bomb. I'll just have to say that. Love Lynchburg. Glad we get to shoot there. It's a beautiful place. Growing up, I couldn't wait to get out of Lynchburg. I couldn't wait to go to LA or Japan or wherever it was I was going to go. Most likely LA. But love Lynchburg. Where I really realized how special of a place Lynchburg is. What am I supposed to do here? But so filmmaking, I think you just kind of like wander around and eventually it triggers the next scene. Yeah.
That's fun.
I think this might be the really beautiful thing. Yeah, this is it. This was the demo.
Okay.
It started right here.
That's a pretty awesome opening to a demo.
It is, and the reveal here in a second that it is just a reflection in the water. But I did, we did like a soap opera-y melodrama type thing in high school, or not in high school, like middle school.
Oh wow!
My house. We did, and then the Star Wars movie was really the big one that we did in high school. And I was always just making like small projects. But the thing that's nice about Lynchburg is people really want to help you out. Like when you're in a bigger city, like making movies in LA, movies are the business of it. I love this music. I don't hear music. Awesome music.
Yeah, this is an awesome demo.
And so, yeah, and then so you have the actual rendered characters run right out into this, which was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But Lynchburg people really want to help you out. I think I equipped all the GF. So like LA, you want to shoot, you have to, if you don't get a permit in LA, and you have to have a permit, I'm pretty sure the rule is if you have a tripod. Oh, Quistis has the other GFs, doesn't she? That's
So with LA, if you have a tripod, you have to have a permit.
Yes. Okay, awesome.
Wonder how that
So I'm
translates
gonna
to gimbals.
Yeah, probably a gimbal too.
Yeah.
But arg. Okay, so magic, draw, GF because we have items with someone else. Okay, and that. Okay. And it's like a big deal. Like it's the fine for not having a permit is really expensive. It's like thousands of dollars, and then it's also like a stay in jail.
Ooh.
So you definitely want to get the permit.
Yeah.
And it's there are good things about it, like for LA especially, like it ensures like, you know, safety and like it there's some good things about it that I won't really go into here, but in Lindsberg, it's a small enough place that, you know, you can have like the town on your side and do some really amazing stuff and have like this really supportive community. I mean, it's just Lindsberg is a very special place. We just had my parents' 60th anniversary there, and so many people came. Such a wonderful place.
Oh yeah.
Good question.
Honestly, for me, I can say a lot of the same things. I didn't entirely grow up in Lindsberg. I moved there around high school. Started out in Wichita, so I already love Lindsberg. Like, I'm definitely excited to go and explore the world and go probably to LA to expand my filmmaking, but Lindsberg is such a great place to live for that community aspect. I remember kind of feeling trapped in Wichita, and part of that, I mean, I was a middle schooler when I left, so I couldn't drive or anything like that, so I was kind of cooped up, but Lindsberg is just, the community is fantastic. Some of the filmmaking I did here, a lot of it was in Vision Tech. I wasn't doing too much filmmaking at the time, although I'd done some experiments with stop motion before moving to Lindsberg, and had done some early experiments with like YouTube style Let's Play videos. I remember one time, like I had Minecraft on an iPad, and I had my brother hold a camera over the iPad and record the gameplay. I think I still have that video on a thumb drive somewhere.
Nice early experiment.
Oh yeah. But, you know, in Lindsberg, Vision Tech was the first class that really exposed me to, you know, actually creating a proper film and editing and all that stuff. And those independent projects really allowed me to explore, because I learned a lot of VFX to go with it, which is something I incorporate in a lot of my projects now, and that's where that started, just being able to teach myself that kind of stuff on my own through those projects, and that kind of environment really helped foster that. And yeah, that whole having the town on your side thing, it's the truth. Like, I've so many times when I've been working on a project, there'll be people I've never told it to, never told that I've been working on a project, and they'll come and be like, how's your movie going? They're interested in it, because word just spreads and people get excited.
That's awesome.
Lindsberg's like an art town. Lots of people
It is an art town.
Love art, and there's a lot of support for that sort of thing here.
I was really into music too, so I had like a band and was doing lots of music stuff while I was there too. But it's a, you know what, when you go to LA, you will find that there's the filmmaking community, like, it's a small world there. Like, you start to kind of know a lot of the people involved with the film business out there.
Yeah.
But the thing about Lindsberg is, like, even if they're not involved with film, you know, they may not know like the technical whatever about what you're doing, but they'll be interested in it and they'll want to know what you're doing, which is really cool. But shortly after high school, I did breakmanx.com with Tyler Richardson, and that was a lot of fun. We started doing this before podcast. We did basically what would now be called a podcast, where we did this kind of internet radio show. The first episode we did, we just were like, no one's gonna listen, we'll just do it for fun. We talked about games for, a while. We put it up, and then a week or so later, Winamp used to be the program that everyone listened to, like, music or whatever on their computer. And so they had a live radio thing called Shoutcast. And so I figured out how to get our show kind of looping on that Shoutcast radio thing.
That's cool.
And so we actually, like, pretty quick had, like, a couple listeners. And so we're like, wow, there's actually a couple people, like, listening to us. And they listen to, like, most of the show. That's crazy. So we... I think I have to go back to Cypher here. So we did the show, and we did another episode, and then after another episode or two or so, see, I think we just wait around. We decided to do it live instead of just recording it and uploading it. Kind of like what we're doing now. We did it live, except there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't Twitch, so like we had to figure out like our own infrastructure.
Right. Using a radio service is pretty creative. Yeah,
so we did all that, and I used to make fun of Halo a lot because I was more for the GameCube and was kind of a fanboy. I can admit that now, and was just kind of doing it, to be funny. And after a couple episodes of doing it live, we got an email, and the email was like a very detailed, like, rebuttal of the things I'd said about Halo, like super detailed. And so then I wrote back, and then like after every show, I would start getting these detailed rebuttals about anything I would say about Halo. And so, after like a few of these emails, Bungie, now it's 343, but at the time Bungie made Halo. I was like, look, dude, do you work for Bungie? Like, what's the deal? And he wrote back, yeah, actually I do.
That's amazing.
So yeah, but then I was like, oh my god, like this guy has been listening to me bash like his work for months. And writing me really nice, like, detailed responses about it. So I wrote back and I was like apologetic. Like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know, you worked on Halo, and maybe I should give it another chance. Whatever. So he ended up saying, we ended up kind of becoming friends after that, ironically. And then he was like, well, would you want to do like a live Halo 2 interview on the show? Sure. So that took months to set up because we had to talk to the Microsoft lawyers, and there were only certain things we could talk about. And since it was live, I had to know like what questions to not ask that the audience would ask and things like that. So it took a long time to set up. In the meantime, I was a huge, and still am, a huge Penny Arcade fan. They do these, I kind of started watching them in the beginning, but then around that point, they had quit their day jobs and were doing Penny Arcade full time, 100% of the time. And so I was like, these are two guys that play video games all the time, and they make 3 comics a week, and they're really successful. Like, they were starting to do really well. And so I wrote Heiko, the writer one, an email, and was like, hey, I'm a really big fan, all this stuff. I talked about how great I thought they were, and that I'd like to interview them. And I got a response back, and it just said, how old are you? So I was devastated. And so like a week later, yeah, well, it was like, I think it came across really immature on accident, because I was so like, guys are so awesome. And so about a week later, the embarrassment had faded a little bit, and from a different email address, I found out they were coming to Kansas City for a convention. So from a different email address, I wrote a much more professional email and asked for an interview. And this time I got a really good response, and they accepted my request for interview.
Nice.
So I did an interview with them in KC, and that went up, and we got a ton of hits on that, because that went to all the places on the internet. Penny Arcade had really started to pick up. I started playing like online games with the Penny Arcade guys. Tycho wrote about me or mentioned me on the front page that we would play our games together. So we started to get a lot more listeners from that. And then not too long after that, we did about a month later, we did the Halo 2 interview. And that one literally broke like all our technology. Like if you listen to the recording, it's like, there's too many of you listening. We had to like limit the amount of listeners. And for the longest time, if you Googled Halo 2, we were the first thing that came up because we were the only interview for a long time. And then they actually invited us down. We got to go down to Bungie, which was at that time on the Microsoft campus. And so we got to do a tour, see some Halo 2 stuff. And
I'll have to watch
I think we
this
saw an
video.
early thing of Destiny. But it's not available anywhere publicly, but it Darian and Malachi have been working on editing some of the Breakman stuff.
Nice.
But
That would be a cool little behind the scenes thing later.
so yeah, we did that and it started getting pretty popular. I started getting recognized like in Kansas City and stuff, which was weird.
Yeah. But it's cool.
And then it's cool. And then that was a big thing, a big part of what got me into USC, I think.
Having that experience and being able to
Yeah,
run
and
the
just
show.
and we had a lot of press and stuff that wrote about us, and I just think combination of all that stuff really beneficial
Yeah.
for the application. Because we're also doing videos all the time. We did all these videos besides the show, and that's my history with games.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
Yeah, well, I just got another comment from Julie. It says, I think it's so special there's a group of Lindsberg local filmmakers working on this project. Lindsberg's such an artistic community, and this project, and it's key.
I agree, Julie. I think it's awesome. Coming from Lindsberg, it's changed now, but like the movie industry always seems so far away. Like I used to joke it was like being Luke on Tatooine, and it was an awesome place, but like professional movie industry seemed like it was like on a different planet.
Right.
And so it's awesome seeing Lindsbergians, doing things together, and taking Hollywood by storm, because there's so much creativity and talent in Lindsberg. There always has been. I mean,
Oh, yeah. There's
artists,
so many, like,
musicians, yeah, everything.
yeah, man, I was taking a trip to Santa Fe a few months ago, and I was touring their governor's palace, and in the museum they have in there, they had this little blurb that was talking about a guy from Lindsberg, Kansas, and I just stopped as soon as I read that word. I'm like, what? And this artist had like come to Lindsberg to teach at Bethany, and then had been hired to paint all of the murals in the palace.
That's amazing.
So there's just stories like that. Lindsberg's kind of just a really cool place for that sort of thing.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And I also think it's so cool that you're bringing this project here, just because, like, you're bringing this artistic project to a town that's perfect for it, but also, like you mentioned, the film industry just feels so far away. This is kind of a different sort of project that Lindsberg doesn't often get exposed to on any more than, the high school or college level, or like smaller short films.
Yeah, it's I'm pretty excited about that too. It's I working in Hollywood and seeing how the business works, there's really no reason something couldn't come out of Lindsberg, especially with the way the technology is now. But when I talked to our DP cinematographer Elle Schneider, she's from New York City, New York, went to USC, but she has a history with Kansas too. She knows all about KU. She knows, and she's really excited to shoot the beauty that exists here. And there's a lot of beauty in Kansas, and you know, a lot of times, like, you don't really see Kansas too much. Like American Flyer in the '80s, you got to actually see Lynchburg Main Street, which is cool, that Kevin Costner movie. But you don't, like, usually when you see Kansas, it's not even shot in Kansas, and it's like making fun of Kansas. Like you have the one that always comes to mind is like Vacation. Like Uncle Eddie is supposedly from Kansas, and they like drive down this like trashy road, and like that's all you see of Kansas, which is, you know, Kansas is beautiful.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just take it for granted. Like, it's the flyover state. When you're doing a road trip and you get to Kansas, you're like, okay, just settle in for 8 hours, drive across the state with nothing. But if you really like take your time and actually appreciate it, it's a unique view. And I also think if you really dig in, there's some places in Kansas that you just wouldn't be exposed to if you stuck just to the interstate, like Canopolis, a state park that's just a few miles, well, like 15 miles away from Lynchburg, has actually like canyons and a lot of rock and some interesting stuff going on out there that I've used for a couple of films and just stuff like that. There's a lot more going on than you'd expect.
And go to Lynchburg, eat at Indigo Mood.
Yep, great ice cream.
Amazing ice cream. Gotta give them props. We eat there every time we go.
There were some people that came in to Indigo Mood from Arizona the other day. And they were visiting Kansas for the state fair, but they had driven from the state fair to Lynchburg specifically for the ice cream because they loved it so much.
It's good. It's really good stuff, for sure. Indigo Mood. I'll say it again.
Mm-hmm. So where are we at in the story of Final Fantasy VIII right now?
I've been going pretty quick through the text, but so basically, we're in this CD is like this military organization, and I didn't play far enough in it to really know much more beyond that. But it's like this military organization that you're like moving up the ranks in, and they've sent you on what's supposed to be like a test. Like this is a test, but it ends up being like more like an actual battle, which is what's about to happen. And so we've launched on this foreign beach. Oh, and there's the person we showed around, so she's gonna join us here. I don't know what happens if you don't show around at the beginning. She's probably like angry that you didn't.
Stomps off and then just
How dare
disappears
you.
from the rest of the game.
Cypher's talking about his dreams, and now his romantic dream. And now the gang's all together. But Final Fantasy always has like... Can we jump down or do we have to walk down? Yeah, let's jump down. Whee! But Final Fantasy always starts out with like a mundane story, and then something much bigger takes hold. Like Final Fantasy VII, you think you're like against this corporation, which you kind of are. They're like destroying the Earth, but really it becomes more about Sephiroth, who's this
Destroying the Earth is a pretty egregious crime. But
yeah, it is. It is. But he becomes connected with it. It's super complicated, but he's like the super well-respected warrior that like loses his mind and becomes horrifically bad. There's a lot of mysticism, but in Final Fantasy VIII, I never really got to that twist, so I don't know what the bigger story is. So I'm kind of excited to see.
Oh yeah,
it's not gonna be about this military organization the whole time. I do like that transition. That transition's growing on me more and more.
Every time it comes by, I'm like, yeah, it's weird, but it's really cool. It's different.
I wonder if it was like a mistake, and they're like,
that's what I think, because you said it wasn't able to really be properly emulated on anything else.
Yeah.
So it's probably just some weird effect, something that wasn't intentional, and they're like, let's use it.
Just so cool.
All right, so I got another question from Julie again. Thanks for being so active, Julie.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Besides Lindsberg, what other locations will Eyes Open be filmed in?
Very good question. So we're not completely sure where the interiors will be shot. But there'll be locations in Lawrence, Kansas, probably Topeka, and potentially a scene or two in LA if a certain actress joins us. So if you're watching certain actress, join us.
Yes, please.
We will come to you. No, we're really excited to show the beauty of Lindsberg and Lawrence, and heck, even Topeka.
There's some interesting
I
spots.
even like Wichita. I lived in Wichita for 4 or 5 years.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's where I went to college.
Yeah, Wichita State. Yeah, I lived in Wichita. I really like Wichita. It's very different than it was. There used to be, now it's like an AMC, but there used to be the Warren Theaters.
Yeah, it's Regal now. It looks.
Regal now.
Yeah, the building looks the same. Like they still got all the marble. Like these theaters are gorgeous in terms of the way they're built. They harken back to like classic cinema and your movie palaces and stuff like that. Not quite as extravagant, but they use a lot of, extra nice materials in architecture. So it's kind of an experience going there, even though like definitely the service has degraded a little bit, I'd say, since they were bought. But it's still fun.
Well, and it used to be like the highest quality theater you could go to for miles and miles. Like,
oh yeah,
they were all THX certified, and like that was a big deal because for a long time, movie theaters, you'd have a completely different experience depending on what movie theater you went to, and so THX, George Lucas, and then actually I had Tom Holmanson at USC who was the TH in THX.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
they tried to make it so like each theater would have the same experience.
Yeah.
And so you knew if you went to a THX theater that you were seeing it as it was intended to be seen. And so I used to try to go to the Warren as much as I could. Like episode 1, Star Wars, I drove down there to see, and then episode 2 was the first movie widely released digital that wasn't filmed. And they had a digital projector out there, and there weren't many digital projectors in the United States. It was like pretty.
Now
pretty
there's
cool,
more film projectors.
Yeah, right. At the time, everyone was like digital. Film looks amazing. We'll be shooting on digital, but film has such an amazing look, and we had a bigger budget potentially because it would add 30 or 40,000 on the budget.
Oh,
I'd rather spend on things, but
yeah, film is one of those things where it's like if you have the money, it's fun to work with. It gives you a really cool natural look, but it's definitely good to spend the money other places if you need to, if you don't really have the extra budget for that.
sure. But it is. But I have shot on film. It's super stressful too because you don't really know what you're getting until it's developed. Whereas digital, you pretty much know exactly what you have.
I just picked up an antique, like, double 8mm camera, which is like your standard 8mm that I want to do some experimenting with. That'll be my first time shooting on film. But yeah, I'm definitely worried about getting it right because you have to develop it in order to see what you got.
Yep. And being like the person that takes the can out or the film out and puts it in the can and stuff, that's super. Because like on a big set, it could be like millions of dollars for those shoots, and then you have to put it in this like black bag thing, and you're reaching your hands in, you can't see what you're doing.
Right.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
But it also has a really awesome smell.
I haven't smelled it before. I'll have to take note of that.
Spielberg shoots on film, and he still edited on film. I don't know if he still does now, but when I was in grad school, Michael Kahn still like actually edited on film. And Spielberg said it was because he liked the way it smelled. I don't think that's probably all why, but
That might be part of it.
it does smell good. It has a particular smell. Oh, Zell, you're getting low on HP.
You mentioned driving out to the Warren for movies. I think I'm planning on doing that. They're going to be re-releasing Interstellar, which is one of my favorite movies.
Oh, Interstellar's my favorite Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, same here. But they're going to be re-releasing that into IMAX in December.
Okay.
And they've got an IMAX in Wichita, so I'm probably going to be driving out there for that. But anyway, we've got another comment. Along with Washburn University, Wichita State Shocker Studios is one of Kansas filmmaking schools. Both schools turn out some great graduates. Thank you. As one of them, I really appreciate the compliment.
Logan is the bomb. He came from Wichita State, so I like Wichita State.
Yeah. Wichita State, we got some pretty cool stuff going on. They just got a volume stage out there. They're doing some pretty interesting stuff with.
That's what you said. That's awesome. That's really cool. I'm glad to see that in Kansas.
Oh yeah, I was kind of annoyed because it came in right as I was graduating, so I didn't really get to use it while I was there. But thankfully, they kind of invited me back to use it, so I'm getting to work with it a bit now. So that's really nice.
I've been super lucky. Every place I've gone, I guess except for KU, has gotten like a new building. Like when I went to high school, they built the building that is currently the high school, but like I was a freshman the very first semester that was open. And then when I went to USC, the whole new film school there, starting with the Spielberg and Lucas building, and then like the sound stages and stuff, all that stuff was brand new when I went there. So I've been lucky to be there for the new stuff. I wasn't there for the
I just got the question, what is a volume? So a volume, it's kind of like the next generation of the idea of a green screen. So instead of a flat green or colored surface behind your actors, you actually got an LED wall. And you're using a game engine to project, like, connect the game engine to this wall and project a live background behind your actors so that when you move the camera, the parallax is all correct. And because the wall is projecting light, the lighting looks a lot more natural. It's a really cool piece of technology.
Also really good for actors, because one of the actors' big complaints was that acting in front of a green screen was how do I get out of the screen? Acting in front of a green screen is really difficult for them because they don't have any context to act with, and so actually being able to see the environment that they're in is super helpful.
Yeah, I've done films with green screen before, and that was definitely a challenge to overcome, like just having very little context for what you're supposed to be looking at there. And that is something I can't wait to dig into more with the volume, because I haven't shot any of my own films on it yet, but I cannot wait to do so, because I feel like that will be something that will be a lot more immersive.
The Star Wars prequels, they're pretty much in front of a green screen, blue screen the entire time, and then like with Obi-Wan, you know, they actually got to see the environments they were in, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And The Mandalorian was, I think, the show that kind of pioneered the volume. Star Wars is riddled all over this tech and ILM, because even before it reached its current form where you're connecting a game engine to it so you can manipulate the background live, it all started with Greg Frazier, I believe, is the DP that kind of spearheaded it, and he was a DP on Rogue One. And they used a similar technology for the hyperspace scenes while they were sitting in a ship. And they had this projector behind there, and that's when they got the idea, you know, we could do something a lot more advanced with this and make it so you can explore the environment a bit more with the camera rather than just having a static angle.
And it's like going back in a way too, because they used to do rear projection. They used to have like a screen, and they'd project stuff. And a lot of the old driving scenes they would shoot that way.
Right. I remember seeing scenes like that in a lot of classic movies.
You can tell when they're doing it. They still see stuff done like that.
Yeah.
Rarely, because the green screen kind of works better. But yeah, the volume is a really cool idea until we get holograms.
Right. I just got another question. So it creates a digital set for actors to act against? Yeah, basically. And it's not as dynamic as a physical set because you're limited to certain angles. It's still a flat wall behind you. And even if it's curved, you're pretty limited on your angles. So it's also common to build a set in front of the volume, a limited set, and then use the volume as kind of a backdrop behind it as well. But yeah, it does give you a lot more flexibility than a regular green screen because of its adaptability with the ability to adjust camera angles.
Yay, we beat the boss.
Nice.
I love all
the animations in this are so like flashy. I love it.
Good questions coming in, everybody. We'll answer pretty much anything. If some of the movie stuff I won't be able to answer, but I'll answer as much as I can. Had a really awesome conversation. I sent there was this basically, if I've ever emailed you in my life, you got an email about Eyes Open yesterday, and I had this really awesome conversation with she's a lead guitarist in a band, but she's also a really awesome screenwriter. She had a script that was Netflix was making it, and at the last minute they pulled out. But it was pretty interesting. Some of the people, who hadn't seen Eyes Open, read the email and watched the video, and hearing like from her how much it touched her was really amazing. One of the things about this story is it's been really nice to see how it affects people.
Yeah.
In a very powerful way. Oh, we got another timer.
Oh no, not one of those.
Timer.
So I just got the question: will a volume be needed when shooting Eyes Open?
Actually, that would be really awesome for that one scene. Can we get snow in there?
Yeah, we'd need to build an environment with snow in it first, but we could.
Then actually, we'll probably end up shooting that outside. But
I think it might be a little bit more straightforward to shoot it outside.
But if there was a scene to shoot on the volume, that would probably be the one.
Yeah. Because I've seen them, I believe they shot like a tornado commercial on like a tornado awareness like infomercial or something like that on the volume that they have at Sharker Studios, and they had a bunch of debris and stuff in the foreground, so we could do that with the fake snow on the ground if we were going to shoot that on the volume.
The tornado scene in The Fabelmans is on a volume.
That's still a movie I need to watch.
And
it's on my list.
It's divisive. People either love it or hate it, from what I've seen.
I tend to be pretty open-minded, so I think I'll enjoy it.
I can always find something. That's one of the things at SC. I was really lucky to have Spielberg come to one of my classes, and one of the things that he said is he watches every single movie, and even if it's a movie that like everyone says it's terrible, he can always learn something from it. And I think it's a really good attitude to have, that no matter what the movie is, you can always learn something from it or find something to enjoy. And no one sets out to make a bad movie.
Yeah.
Like even a terrible movie, there was a group of people that were really trying to make something. So I always feel for filmmakers.
Yeah, I mean, even if like it's commonly considered a bad movie, so many people poured a ton of time into the project, and there's genuine time and effort put into everything you see. So it's interesting to break down what went into a project, even if it's not necessarily your favorite film.
Sure. We are going to make an amazing movie, so we don't have to worry about that. But
oh yeah, I'm confident. Story alone, great.
Tara sent me this funny video as Ethan Hawke, and he was talking about how he got this script and he read it and he thought it was like the dumbest, worst script he'd ever read. He even took it on like a road trip with his friends, and he was reading lines out of it and making fun of it. And then they're driving to Vegas for this road trip. They're making fun of the lines, and he's like, "This is so terrible." He just throws it out the window. The movie was Independence Day.
Oh man!
And so he goes, next July 4th or whatever to see the movie. And the line that he was like stopped reading and thought it was terrible was "E.T. Phone Home," when Will Smith punches the thing,
yeah,
alien. And he's watching the movie, and first of all, he's starting to realize like this movie is like really good. It's actually his biggest regret, passing up that movie.
Yeah.
And it gets to the E.T. Phone Home line, and it literally gets a standing ovation in the theater. He's like, I really messed up.
That's how that just drill it home there.
So you don't always know on the page. Yeah.
Well, I
love Independence Day is one of my favorite. I saw that in the theater back when.
I think like a script, you can have a really good script, but even if a script feels odd in that form, it also comes down to what you do on set and what you do especially in editing. Because editing is like your chance to tell the story over again. It's like you're writing it again, but with all of your visual components added into it.
You're basically writing it 3 times.
Yeah.
You write it when you write it on set again, and then you write it in the edit, which is why a lot of writers end up not loving the movie when it comes out. I worked on a project once. I probably shouldn't say which one, but the director. So it was meant to be like a comedy, like kind of a dark comedy, but a comedy. And the director made it much more serious and more of like the main character was like depressed. I mean, he was depressed in the comedy, but made it more like about his struggle than like the comedy. And at the screening of like one of the later cuts, the editor or the writer stood up and he's like, "I want my name off of this. This is not what I wrote." He eventually changed his mind, but like I've seen that happen. There's I'm actually not really a Family Guy fan. Sorry if anyone is, but there's one Family Guy episode where Brian writes a TV show, and it's like he pours his heart into it, like it's something he feels super passionate about, and they end up making this like show, and the show ends up being like nothing like what he wrote. There's like a sidekick monkey, and like it's like it ends up being like this wacky like sitcom instead of what he had, and he's super embarrassed when his family like comes to watch taping. That can happen too.
Yeah, I think
we're doing Eyes Open the way we're doing it, so we can tell it the way we want to tell it. We don't have any monkey sidekick.
Right. Well, and it helps that you and Tara wrote the script together and you're directing it, so you have that unification of writer and director there.
Yep.
But yeah, I think when you have a separation with someone else writing the script, like a different person directing it, I think it's definitely valuable to have both people there working together so that a single vision is achieved and you don't have someone getting really frustrated with the final result.
Yeah, any script change, I run through Tara every time because she's been really. I mean, in the beginning when we first started writing the script, she was just gonna like read and then give notes, and then just kind of give her feedback. Then as she started reading it, she was giving like really substantial notes, and we were, getting her side of things that I didn't know because I wasn't there, and then we started writing together, and then she started writing herself too. There's one day in particular where she wrote the entire day, and she was like all like intense and like sweaty, and she's like, that was the day I knew that like she'd really, really become a writer. And anytime she'd give me pages, she'd be like, well, I'm not a writer. I'm like, you're a writer. Everyone has loved what you've written. You're a writer.
I think the most important part of being a writer is being able to connect with your emotions that way, and I think the script really succeeds in that.
Yeah, and not getting too upset when you have a bad idea, because
right.
Matt Damon has a thing where he talks about when he wrote Good Will Hunting, that the best piece of advice he got at the beginning of his career that he gives to young people is, don't judge yourself by your worst ideas, judge yourself by your best ideas. Because every creative person has bad ideas. Don't let the times when you have bad ideas make you feel like you're not creative or that you're not good. Whatever your best ideas are, that's what you should judge yourself by. And you should always be free to express them. If you're ever in a creative team and you're getting like, people are making fun of you or they're shutting you down, you're not in a good team.
Right. Sometimes the best ideas were like jokes that someone threw out and didn't think would actually work.
One of my favorite things of that is that you've seen Back to the Future.
Oh, of course. That's another one of my favorites.
Okay, so that movie. So they're doing the movie, and so Steven Spielberg, his career was, his mentor was Sid Sheinberg, who's an executive at Universal. And he was the one that gave him a chance, that really gave him like his start. So he owes him a lot. He respects him a lot, right? He's a big deal for him. And he's like who got him Jaws, and like when everyone wanted to fire him on Jaws, like stuck with him and whatever. So that's who Sid Sheinberg is. So they're making Back to the Future. And Sid Sheinberg gives these notes, and he's like, Back to the Future is a terrible title. No one knows what that means. Time travel is confusing.
I remember
it's
the
sci-fi.
Story,
yeah, it's sci-fi. We should call it like, it's something on Planet 9. It's some super ridiculous title.
I think there was a reference to like they thought he was an alien when he first showed up in the 50s. I think it was a reference to that.
Exactly. That's what it is. Yeah. So it's this ridiculous title that's terrible. And but Spielberg, like, I can't offend Sid Sheinberg, right? I can't, like, and he was pretty forceful in like how he said like this is the title, and he's like an executive, and so like this is a master Spielberg how he deals with people, right? So how do you get out of this? So he writes Sid Sheinberg back in like a fax or a memo, and says, Sid, what a great joke this morning. We all got a great laugh out of your title. We really needed that, in this part of the stressful part of production. He never brought it up again. But played it off like, like it was a joke. It was
brilliant.
Classic Spielberg being Spielberg.
I just think, I don't know how it could be lost on anyone the genius of the title Back to the Future, because it's just these two opposite words. Yeah, it's iconic.
It is iconic, but it's one of those things, like if you look at a time travel, like there hadn't really been a time travel comedy, and executives always base things on what's come before. They don't have like data to base anything off of. It's confusing. How do we get butts in seats? You know, what do they know? They know sci-fi. So like,
Yeah.
but yeah, Back to the Future it's like one of the best titles I think in history.
I got another question. It says, Logan, could you create an eyes open video game based on the movie, given that video games play a role in the storyline? That could be interesting.
That would be awesome. I'd be all for it.
No, that's a cool idea. It'd probably have to be small unless I had a team to do it. But given the era of video games that this movie utilizes, I think something could be done.
Could be Final Fantasy style.
Yeah, kind of a Final Fantasy, you know, walking around in certain settings of the movie and those kind of like locked aspect ratios and having reference battles that kind of like Final Fantasy for like scenarios in the movie or something.
That would be amazing. I would love it. When I did the TV pilot, we had a game being made concurrently with it, but oh man, I don't know how much or what I should say exactly by what happened with the game. It wasn't. I'll just say it wasn't able to be used. It wasn't useful. But it was a pretty cool game, and it was going to be actually shown in the pilot. Run. All right, we've got about 10 minutes left. We're going to be able to finish this sequence. So any last questions from people? Any last donations from people? Hit that link on the bottom, or even better yet, go to eyesopenmovie.com and hit our Kickstarter. That would be amazing. And you know what? If you don't want to give money, that's totally fine. It'd also be really helpful just to spread the word. You know, share it on social media, tell your friends, put out some smoke signals.
This awareness of this project, I think, is so important.
Oh yeah, awareness is huge. So, you know, if you can't give, which I totally get, sharing is also amazing.
Design this spider mech is so cool.
I know, and it's actually rendered pretty well too.
Yeah, it works very well with the graphic style.
Oh, big attack.
Yep.
So, in Final Fantasy VII, the graphics outside of the battles for the characters were different, and then they were more detailed in the battles. Final Fantasy VIII, they have the same character models the whole time.
That's how you know technology's advancing.
Yeah.
I remember, back to Pokemon, I remember when they did that for the first time in the 3D Pokemon games. It was Sun and Moon, where they're like, you know what, we're just going to use the same model. And it was like, whoa, every single time before that, it was either this like still sprite or a chibi version of the model.
So what's your favorite Pokemon game?
Well, I haven't had an opportunity to play too many because I haven't had terribly many consoles. But gameplay-wise, from what I've seen, I really enjoy Emerald. It's a nice balance of the classic games, but it's also, you know, Pokemon got in stride a little bit there, and I just love the designs of Gen 3 Pokemon. And I've played it a couple of times, emulated. But, man, Rayquaza, I have to say, is such a cool design. That is like my top Pokemon. This massive flying green and yellow and black and red lizard snake thing.
Nice. I've really only played... So back in Pokemon Red and Blue, first two, I got that when it came out, and I just could never get into it. And I really tried because I had a friend that was pretty into it. And I love the design of the Pokemon. I like the way they look.
Oh yeah.
And I like RPGs too, so I don't know what my problem is.
Well, I didn't play the games too much. Back in middle school, I did do a lot of Pokemon card trading. Mostly collected them for the art. I just got ones that I thought were cool. Never really knew how to properly play the game. But now I've got a frame next to my desk over here with a lot of my favorites that I collected back then.
Cool.
because they're just all of them have such a unique design. So it's just kind of fun.
I still have my Marvel cards from 1990 through like 96.
That's cool. Another question. Excited to see the film completed. When do you anticipate it being released to theaters?
Oh, very nice. So plan is to wrap production. I think I went the wrong way. Plan is to wrap production. Did I not go the wrong way? Plan is to wrap production mid-November, and then we start editing. Already been talking to an editor. Once he gets back to the States, we'll hope to finalize that. But editing will take a few months or a while, and then sound will take a few weeks as well, or a month or so. So we hope to have the movie into festivals in 2015, and then
2025.
Or just 2025. Let's go back in time. 2025. Well, there's that poor little doggy. So hope to have the into festivals and things for 2025 to get our buyer, and then we'd like to have it in theaters and or streaming services probably 2026.
Nice.
So, but go to our Kickstarter. You could come to the premiere.
I'm so excited.
So this is really cool coming up here. This was the end of the demo, and it really cool sequence to end up this scene. I don't think there's anything before.
I like the top-down angle here. It's kind of different.
I love the camera angles are really cool. That's one of the nice things about the fixed camera angles is that they can have cool cinematography instead of having to have everything be visible.
Another question. Which festivals do you want to show it at?
We haven't completely ironed out our festival strategy, but we're definitely aiming for Top Fest. It's really whatever. This is the sequence right here. It's whatever helps our distribution strategy. So this sequence here, this was like the last part of the demo that got you ready for this game. This shot here. So cool.
Nice.
Him running away from the big.
Was the demo like an hour long?
Yeah, it was long.
That's a nice demo. Final Fantasy is pretty good with its demos though, because in 14 you can basically play the vast majority of the game for free. But
right here, this shot, and then Quistis takes it out for you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then right after that, it like had this cool cutout thing it did. That's kind of like the first major set piece. A lot better than tutorials. But yeah, 2026 is the hopeful release date. Now distributors sometimes will have like a release window they want to hit, like because you don't want to release a movie when it's competing with something similar.
Right.
But probably 2026, assuming no tragedy befalls us or distributor changes their mind. How'd it go? But if you're just watching the stream because you like Final Fantasy VIII, you should definitely check out Eyes Open, eyesopenmovie.com. Check out our video. Check out our Kickstarter. Final Fantasy VII and VIII, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, plays a pretty big role in the movie in that first act. Wow, so we got through that big set piece
Yeah,
for the stream. That's pretty cool.
and we basically timed it perfectly with the end of the demo.
Yeah, for sure. I'll get to a save place and we'll wrap things up. You want to stream again next week?
That sounds fun. I think I can make that work. Don't have anything planned on Wednesday specifically yet.
Awesome. Well, everybody, if you want to see what happens next in Final Fantasy VIII, you want to know more about Eyes Open, you should check us out on all the same spots. I don't want to stay at the hotel. I just want to save. We will be very excited to see you. I have a Mem Card Pro in my PlayStation, so pretty cool. Once I save it on the memory card, it immediately automatically uploads it to Google Drive.
Oh, that is cool. Oh, we never lose
Got
it.
it. Yeah, it's got like a Wi-Fi chip in it. So, thank you very much for listening and watching. Wow, that was perfect.
Yeah.
And we will see you next week on Final Fantasy VIII. Thanks, Logan. You rock.
Yeah, thank you. This was fun.
Cool. See y'all later.
See ya.